Cary Wolfe's Animal Rights emerges as a pivotal and timely contribution to the intersection of posthumanist theory and literary cultural studies, particularly in its exploration of human-animal interrelationships and their representation in discourse and literature. Wolfe boldly engages with complex physical inquiries, asserting that a genuinely postmodern ethical pluralism can only be achieved through posthumanist theory. Wolfe leads us on a stimulating exploration of texts spanning philosophy, science, literature, and film, skillfully discerning moments where the presence of the animal is either acknowledged or, more significantly, where it should be, but is obscured by various forms of erasure. He advocates for the full recognition of what he terms the discourse of species, the arenas where distinctions and commonalities between humans and animals are contested. In doing so, Wolfe presents formidable challenges to the persistently recurring concept of the human, suggesting that its excavation has yet to plumb its full depth. In the essay Critical Environments, he initiates a consequential dialogue between the often disparate realms of pragmaticism, systems theory, and post structuralism. His aim is to delve into the theoretical, political, and ethical dimensions of how theorists within postmodernism have grappled with envisioning the outside of theory. This outside typically encompasses nature and the animal, and Wolfe contends that its rigorous examination is crucial for bolstering movements advocating for animal rights. In the initial chapters of Animal Rights, Wolfe scrutinizes the philosophy of animal rights, encompassing figures ranging Tom Regan, who asserts these rights unequivocally, to Derrida, who, while hesitant to use the term, remains committed to the prevailing ethical framework. Throughout his meticulous analysis, Wolfe consistently exposes the lingering traces of human-centric perspectives within what he otherwise acknowledges as valuable and animal-centered work. In the cases of Ferry, Singer, and Regan, it is liberal humanism that undermines their positions on animal rights. In the cases of Heidegger, Levinas, and Lyotard, a more subtly embedded species humanism resides within approaches that are largely posthumanist. According to Wolfe, for these latter thinkers, the full ethical weight of interspecies alterity, the unsettling otherness of the animal, is restricted by the models of subjectivity that, in their view, animals lack. Heidegger argues that animals lack a hand. Levinas emphasizes the absence of a face, and Lyotard contends that animals lack the capacity to phrase. Thus, Wolfe elucidates Derrida's significant deconstruction of the persistent centrality of man in these contexts. However, in accordance with this assertion in Critical Environments regarding the priority of systems theory over deconstruction for new social movements such as ecology and animal rights, and building upon the interdisciplinary nature of his earlier work, Wolfe also delves into pragmatism of Wittgenstein, Cavell, and Hearn, as well as the systems theory of Maturana and Varela. In the second part of Animal Rights, Wolfe delves into a range of cultural texts, skillfully analyzing the mechanisms of species discourse. It is here that a full scope and subtlety of Wolfe's comprehension of species discourse becomes evident, particularly in its interplay with other categories such as gender, sexuality, race, and class that might already be familiar to us. Wolfe exposes the strategies through which various analogies, oppositions, or mappings serve the interests of specific forms of domination. His joint reading with Jonathan Elmer of the film The Silence of the Lambs builds upon psychoanalytic insights into the interplay between subjectivity and the biological and sexual real, adeptly illustrating the sacrifice of the animal upon which the subject is predicated, a dynamic confirmed by the film's heterosexism and speciesism. In his examination of two Hemingway novels, The Sun Also Rises and the Garden of Eden, Wolfe underscores the significance and ambivalence of cross species identification. In his analysis of Michael Crichton's Congo, he explores the discursive entanglement of species and neocolonialism within the novel. One of Woolf's most pivotal contributions lies in his unwavering emphasis on the irreducibility of species discourse. In a scholarly context, understandably preoccupied with categories like race, class, and gender, concerns for animals often find themselves relegated to the periphery. The discourse surrounding species is frequently diminished to a canvas onto which more prominent cultural forces are projected, a domain perpetually shaped by ulterior motives. It is precisely the racist deployment of animality to exclude non white individuals or the sexist use of nature to marginalize females that has spurred anti racist and anti sexist movements to reclaim the space of the human subject for their own emancipation. However, Woolf underscores on several occasions the issue lies not only in the failure of such endeavors to challenge the species' supremacy of humans over animals, a failure admirably rectified by Woolf's foregrounding of species discourse in these texts, but also in the profoundly destructive institutional context surrounding such discourse.